Hello and welcome to Reality TV Cringe. I am one of your hosts, Delia, and I'm here with my real tight homegirl, Beatrice.
Hey.
We are back in the studio, thank God, because
I'm back from the dead.
Last time it was a bit of an audio disaster.
It was a bit of a disaster, yeah.
We did the best that we could.
We did.
And you showed up for us like a real raccoon. You got in the dumpster all sick and you gave us your opinion.
Just for you guys.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into today's episode, we want to remind you that this is a dumpster for a reason. Hide your wife, hide your kids. We are politically incorrect, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
We have offensive and dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, outright dumb opinions, but that's who we are as raccoons. And so if you're beat it.
Get out of here. Also, we have an Instagram at Reality TV Cringe, and we got a Patreon, patreon.com/Reality TV Cringe.
And if you are watching on YouTube, please do not forget to support your girls, Bea and Dee, by liking, commenting, sharing, and of course, subscribing. Any little thing you do is like magic in the algorithm, and it helps people find the dumpster. So thank you in advance.
Thank you.
All right, are you ready now to segue into our recap of Welcome to Plathville?
Yes, in this boring ass episode.
I mean, there were just a few things that I think that we can get into that were of interest. We are on the episode, season 5, episode 6, entitled Come What Come May.
I know. I'm like, what is this?
What does this mean? Y'all are illiterate.
I know.
This makes no sense. Do you mean come what may?
Yeah, that would make more sense.
What is going on with these titles?
I don't know.
Everybody's
man.
dumb in these fundamentalist reality TV shows, including the producer.
True.
All right, we start by joining Ethan and Olivia up there in Victoria, Minnesota, and it's a winter wonderland.
It is
Beatrice.
gorgeous up
It
there.
is. I texted you. I'm like, girl, we should move to Minnesota.
I mean, we should move up there.
Well, it's
so
because
nice.
it was so fucking hot in Texas this year.
I know.
We had, I want to say, 60 days above 105 with no rain since May.
Yes, it's bullshit. And now
Hellfire.
It's cooling down this week to 70 degrees, and we're like, yes, thank God.
We can come out of our houses and animate like human zombie corpses.
For real.
But they seem to be enjoying themselves. They are taking a walk in cute little Christmas town, Victoria, Minnesota. They've got an apartment. They've downsized a little bit and divested themselves of a lot of their stuff because they don't need all of it. And little do people know, but we know, the raccoons know, little do people know, but Olivia is going to be divesting herself of Ethan in short order, babe.
She's putting on this fake ass bullshit fucking storyline of like, we're working on our marriage, and like she's sitting on top with Ethan, like acting all lovey-dovey, and she's like, it's just so great to like be away from all the drama and all of the people interfering in our marriage.
You're the drama.
Yep. Hi, you're the drama.
The
It's
drama is
me.
going to follow you. In fact, in the preview for next week's episode, you're already creating more fucking drama by becoming a bartender like Mariah
I
is.
know, I noticed that.
Like Mariah is, and talking about your independence and how your values are different from Ethan's. Now, it didn't take you long, bitch, to start talking about how you don't want to be with Ethan. So you moved him up to Minnesota. I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of miles away from his family just to dump his ass.
Yeah, just to dump his ass because you're finding yourself and you're becoming an individual.
Well,
So
Ethan doesn't see it
cringe.
coming. He's very happy. He loves Minnesota.
Yep.
And of course, Olivia and Ethan have been moving from one place to the next place every year or so.
Exhausting.
Please, I would hate that. But he's like, maybe we can make it for 2 years in Minnesota. And I'm like, well, little do you know, Ethan, you can stay in Minnesota as long as you want because Olivia's getting the fuck out of there and moving to Los Angeles.
Which is pretty sad watching him in this episode talking to her all lovey-dovey and being like, can we make babies?
Yeah.
Can we have a family? And she's like, no. No.
Yeah, why are you talking about that? Well, because
we're married?
We're young and we've been married for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And I really want a child. I want a little Brussels sprout. I want a little
Cotton top.
Cotton top. I think that's
Yeah.
so sweet. And you can just see behind her eyes, she's like, fuck no. She's got plans.
Yep. She's like Yara. She's on birth control without telling him.
Totally. She does not want to have a child. She does not want to
Nope.
stay married to you, Ethan. Next, we get on over to Los Angeles and we have the very handsome Ethan Plath.
He is very handsome.
He's very
God.
And he's scheduled his own photo shoot so he can update his modeling portfolio.
Yeah.
And we get to see all of those wonderful pictures. So what did you think about all that, Beatrice?
I mean, this whole scene was just
Cringe.
cringy as fuck. I'm just like, I don't want to see him acting like a Calvin Klein model. But in his talking head, he's talking about how he moved to Los Angeles for the fame and the fortune. And every time he's out there for a long period of time, he misses Cairo. And then he goes back to Cairo. And then when he's there for a long period of time, he misses LA. And so now he's trying to figure out what he wants to do, but he's not making a lot of money in the modeling business.
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like some months are okay and some months are not. And he's just not doing the kind of work that he wants to do.
Not surprised.
And well, really, I mean, I think I don't know anything about modeling despite what you can see with your own fucking two eyes, Beatrice. I don't know anything about it, but it seems like he would have the look.
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like society is kind of turning into like an alternative style nowadays. I mean, like, look at Doja Cat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, look at Doja Cat.
Get thee behind me, Satan. Some demonic horseshit going on with Doja Cat. I don't know. I just feel like I could see him on a runway in Paris or Milan modeling some cool threads.
maybe.
But like, why doesn't he have adequate representation? Is it still that weird woman from Georgia that's representing him?
It might be.
I forget her name. But so he's wondering whether he should move back. And I think this is just a grand run up to him ultimately deciding once his lease expires to head on back to Georgia and be with his family, because it probably makes it hard for production to keep up with everybody when they're all living so far away.
I know. God, Minnesota, LA, Tampa, Cairo. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you guys are all over the country.
Yeah. Then we move on to a cute little scene with Isaac.
Yeah.
He is also handsome.
He is so handsome.
Oh my God, with his little hat, his little country
know.
boy with his little Wranglers on, little
yeah.
boots and everything.
Talking with his friends at a pizza parlor about all the girls he's making out with.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So what did you think? I thought it was so wholesome.
Yeah.
I thought him talking about girls and how he could pull all the girls. Give me 1 hour, dudes, and I can pull all of the girls.
I believe it.
Do you?
100%. He's so handsome. We talked about it like last episode. He's like a Cairo 2000.
He is a Cairo 2000.
Gosh.
Cairo.
It's
not Egypt.
Same diff.
I mean, just keep it together over there.
It's spelled the exact same.
At some point, they're talking about his homeschooling because I guess he's in grade 11. And then I remembered, but he's being homeschooled by who? Probably Lydia.
Yeah, probably.
And then he's like, I learn everything just from books. So he's probably self-administering his own education.
Yep, probably. Because Kim's out drinking and boinking his flight instructor.
And he's going to find out next week. Do you think he knows at this point that mom's doing that?
No.
Because when they were running back the flashbacks later in the episode when she's talking about her with her fake friend Alicia about Ken, you can see in the flashback when Kim and Isaac go to meet Ken, she actually opens her arms to hug him and then
handshakes.
gives the hand. So do you think Isaac has picked up on any of this? Is he going to be shocked next week is what I'm asking you.
I think he'll be uncomfortable. I think he'll be shocked, but he'll probably keep that internalized and try to like be okay with it in the moment. But I think deep down he's going to be upset by it, to be honest.
I can't imagine he wouldn't be. There have been some photos on Reddit and around the internet of Micah, Isaac, Kim, and Ken seemingly happy, seemingly together, and also Kim and Ken and the girls, although I don't know if Lydia was in that photo or not, but like the little girls. So Ken 1 year later, because this is being filmed probably winter of 2022,
Maybe?
I think 2022.
Yeah.
So 1 year later, he's already integrating with the entire family. I wonder what Barry thinks about that.
Oh, dude. He is just rage, I'm sure. Rage and sadness.
Yeah. Do you think he becomes
down.
a serial killer in his arc? Starts killing people?
No, if he's still hitting the gym, he's probably fine.
I don't know. As he advances toward Florida, wherever they're living, he starts just killing the wake of bodies.
No,
in
he
his
just
fast
needs to get a hot farm girl. No.
He does need a hot farm girl.
That's what he needs.
So I do wonder if Isaac has an inkling of this Ken Palmer and Kim affair, how long it's been going on. But at this point, if we are to believe the show, he's going to be blindsided next week. And I feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him too.
All right. After this cute little this segment in the pizzeria, we go back to Victoria, Minnesota. We are having Ethan's cousin,
Yeah.
Amaya over for a card game. And that was boring.
Super boring.
And she's going to be going to college. And this was all just sort of the launching pad for Olivia to talk about herself. What a
again.
shock. And college. Because Amaya asks her, like, have you ever thought about going to college? And she's like, yeah, but well, actually, Beatrice, I felt like this was a moment of a little bit of authenticity. She's like, I'm actually afraid, I'm overwhelmed, and I just worry that I'm dumb, because she wasn't properly educated in her family, in her childhood. So she doesn't know.
Well, how do you know she's not properly educated? She wasn't educated by Kim.
Okay, conventionally educated.
Yeah,
maybe
she was
conventionally.
homeschooled,
So
yeah.
she doesn't know if she's intelligent and how she's going to compare to other students. But she does know that she thinks about it every single day.
Yeah, because she craves the classroom experience, which I understand because my mom was homeschooled by a deeply fundamental religious family. And I couldn't tell you how many fucking times she made me do like all of the school things just so she could like live vicariously through me. And I felt for her growing up because all she wanted was to just go to school. Like she thought it was the coolest fucking thing. And here I am in public school and I'm like, this shit sucks.
It is super
I'm
sucky.
like, it's not anything to like covet and be excited
No.
about, but I can understand it. So I did feel for Olivia only in this tiny little bit.
Good. That's good. That means you have a heart.
Oh yeah,
You had a
just
raccoon
small
heart and it's
heart
pumping.
deep down there.
Right.
But I felt for her because I get it. I mean, if you're growing up in a fundamental, religious, strict fucking household and being taught Bible verses every single day, it's like, yeah, you do crave something different. But God, I just wish I could tell Olivia, like, it's not all that's cracked up to be.
I don't know. I feel like she's a good match for academia. I think she would probably really thrive. I think she already fancies herself as very intelligent.
Yeah.
And so she would probably strive to excel in college, in academia. And so I think it would probably be a good fit for her. She's trying to find something for herself and just herself, because I think what she really wants is independence. I think what she really wants is to stop being identified with Ethan Plath, who, you know, can he read? We don't know. Jury's out. He needs pictures for his menus. He is not very emotionally intelligent. He doesn't know how to speak with words, big boy words from his mouth ball. She doesn't have any of that with him. And she wants more. And can you blame her?
No, not really. But she's
like
just so insufferable. It's just like, stop talking about yourself and your whole life and finding yourself. I don't care. I don't care.
In this segment, I thought it was really sweet, and the next segment as well, because they were showing pictures of the Plath kids when they used to visit Minnesota.
So
oh my God. Why can't I have grandbabies from you?
Listen,
why can't you find a donor that is so cute like that, and then we could have babies?
Well, I keep asking your nephews.
I know.
They keep telling me I'll think about it.
It's been a long time.
And they're pretty and blonde.
They're so pretty and blonde and handsome. Very smart. Like, holy fuck,
handsome.
super turbo smart. They would be great candidates.
I know.
They're coming for Thanksgiving, so I'm just going to be
We'll
so
just be asking them
inappropriate.
the whole
I'm going
time.
to get their dad drunk,
Maybe
them a little drunk, and I'm just going to be so inappropriate about it.
They're going to be so cringed out by it too.
But like my non-existent ovaries were like throbbing.
Yeah.
They were throbbing because those kids were so cute.
I know, they were so cute. They look like little toe heads, like Barry said.
Little Brussels sprouts, little cotton tops.
Yeah.
All right. Then we move on to Tampa, Florida, where we have Barry being the picturesque, fantastic father that he is becoming. A little late in life, I have to say. I do judge you for this. You should have been present the entire time.
Yeah.
But better late than never. They're out at some beach in Tampa, Florida. It is Little Mercy's birthday, and I just thought this was such a cool scene.
So cute. He's celebrating her birthday late because he let Kim celebrate it on her actual day of birth. And he was talking about how Kim always was the party planner. He never did shit. Obviously, he was only working. And I liked this segment because he was talking about how he learned his lessons of like, I should have been more present with the kids and with Kim growing up. I was too focused on work, but now I'm like learning, and that's the whole part of being a parent, that you have to grow as well. And I just thought it was super sweet. He's just celebrating Little Mercy, and they got little tiki torches, and they're going to have a little fire. And
she got a kayak and a little cookie cake. And
so cute.
They seemed really happy. And I think it was in this scene where Lydia says that she's always yearned for a closer connection with Barry. Like she always wanted him to be around more. And now, I mean, unfortunately, because of the divorce, but nonetheless, now he's there. And I think we end this segment with him saying, do you keep making mistakes or do you own up to them?
Yes.
And I thought to myself, great question. I wonder if you're posing that to Kim.
I bet
because
he's totally
she's
doing.
making all kinds of mistakes. She's not owning up to them and she's making more mistakes.
Yep. Continuously. And she's probably not being as present with the kids right now because she's just focused on getting fucked by Ken Palmer.
Oh my God. It's true though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was so sweet.
Yeah, I thought it was really wholesome.
The kids seemed happy all together. Kim should have been there.
I know.
But I guess she couldn't be.
Nope.
All right. Then we move back to Minnesota and we have that interesting scene with Ethan and his bros. He's taken a job loading delivery trucks. Interesting, because previously you and I had opined, like what the fuck does Ethan do besides work on cars and does he even make money for that? Of course, we have established that he had a herd of cattle, which he sold. He purchased his income property, which I assume he still has. Therefore, he's making some monthly income on that. Maybe there's a business with the cars, but I found it interesting that he's loading delivery trucks.
Yeah, it sounds like something my dad used to do growing up. He would work at like a big old factory thing and they would just load like semi-trucks full of shit, like plastics or products or whatever. So that's probably what he's doing. And you make good money doing that.
Not really.
Yeah, you can. My dad made good money.
I don't know about that.
My dad made good money.
I somehow doubt it. And it got me wondering, what's Ethan going to do when this show inevitably concludes? Because I don't even know how we can get more seasons out of this unless it's a really dynamic divorce between Ethan and Olivia. But like he doesn't have a proper education. It is in question whether he even got his GED.
Right.
He obviously hasn't gone to university. So like what kind of job could he actually get besides entrepreneur?
That's a good point.
I worry for him.
Yeah. I mean, you can be a mechanic. You could own your own shop. I mean, he knows so much about cars and stuff. So maybe he could do something like that. Like my uncle's a mechanic and he owns his own whole fucking shop in Sacramento, makes a lot of money, and that's an expensive place to live. So I don't know.
Yeah, he could own a shop and he could do that kind of work. I don't know. These parents, they did such a bad job preparing their kids to like actually get jobs that can support them for the rest of their lives. And especially in this fucking economy nowadays, like it's hard to even be able to buy a house. Millennials, your age group, can't even afford to buy a house.
You can't even afford rent half the time.
Or gas or groceries. And like, how are these kids going to get out there and work? I mean, I think you're cute, Micah, but you can't be a model forever. And even now you're not being a model that's successful. What are you going to do?
Well, their dad makes a lot of money, so they can just live in one of their rental properties.
They should move back to the farm, all of them, and just
really
work
should.
the farm. They should do that. What did you think about the interaction with the friends as it concerned Ethan talking about his beliefs and his Christianity?
I thought that was really interesting. And I thought it was kind of like a light into Ethan's soul. Like I didn't realize that he was still deep in his religion, especially being married to Olivia, because he talks about that, like how Olivia is no longer a Christian, no longer really believes any of that stuff. And he was thinking to himself, geez, all the people that believe in my faith are just old people. Like, am I really just believing in something that's outdated and no longer needed, or what? And then he meets his new friend Andreas or something, I think is the Christian
was like Josh and Andreas. I think Andreas was the Christian one, and I'm not sure which of the two Andreas was, so I'm at a loss.
I know, I don't remember which one. The one without gloves, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was finding camaraderie in that. And I'm like, hey, good for you, man.
Yeah, I didn't think that it spoke to his continued indoctrination. I felt from him and the way he was communicating about it that it spoke to his evolution in spirituality, because I could say the same, honestly. I was a fundamentalist Christian for many years, was a missionary. We talked about this many times, but I was deep in it.
Yeah.
And here now, decades later, I can say I still love Jesus Christ. My relationship with Christ and Christianity has shifted and changed, but I am still a believer.
Yeah.
And so I think we're seeing that kind of arc with Ethan and him giving himself permission to slough off all of the bullshit that came along with religion when he was a kid.
Right.
And kind of stick to the parts that are eternal or make sense for him. And I want him to feel like the freedom to do that, because it's okay to do that, to love God if that is what you want to do.
Right. I do love that too. And I hope he feels that too, especially with Olivia, because I can't imagine the kind of shit she's saying in his ear anytime he even talks about it. That's probably what he was getting at when he's like, it's good to have people to talk to about it, because he probably can't ever discuss this kind of shit with Olivia because she's so anti it. Which is fine, I guess,
in the preview, when she's being a fake bartender to compete with Mariah, she's talking about how their value systems have changed, both of them. I think she's specifically referring to spirituality / religion, how they're not on the same page anymore. And so she gets more happiness out of being herself and being independent. So I actually think this issue of religion is going to drive... It's one of the wedges that is going to split these two up.
Interesting. I could totally see that. But that's unfortunate, though.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Because your husband's not really a religious, spiritual person at all. He's probably more agnostic than anything.
If not atheistic, but yes.
So, but like that doesn't drive a wedge with you guys.
No, and that's something I've always talked about, because previous to this incarnation as a reality TV cringe pod, I was doing some spiritual stuff in my life, and he didn't believe any of it, but he was so supportive. And when we do retreats and when we'd have projects, like, he was always doing something to help, and he never judged me.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing with Ethan and Olivia. I feel like she's judging him. Totally. I think she's equating his belief to being dumb and not being willing to leave his family, because for Olivia, in my opinion, it's all about her isolating him from his family.
Yes.
And even though she's gotten him 1,000 miles away from his family, he can't talk to Mariah. She's blocked him. He's talking to nobody. She has to keep going and try to isolate him from his faith.
Yep.
And maybe that's like the final straw for Ethan. He's just like, no, bitch, you can't take me away from my fundamental belief.
Right. I hope so. I hope we get to see some of that in this season.
Me too.
I don't know. Like, and maybe we'll get a season 6 where we get to see the dissolution of
I
their
hope so,
marriage.
yes.
That would be so great. I mean, not great for Ethan, but like just great to see, because Olivia sucks and she's so toxic, and there's so many people that are so pro her for no reason. And I'm like, no, she has been doing this for 5 seasons now. She's moved him up to Minnesota. Like, yeah, he's got Barry's family up there, I guess. He's got his grandparents. He's got some friends. But like, what is she going to do? Maybe she'll want to move too. I've been seeing people on Twitter saying that they're not going to last a full Minnesota winter, like their marriage. She's not a cold person. She doesn't like the winter.
Right.
She's saying it's magical and great right now because they're away from the family, but maybe the religion thing drives a wedge, and then maybe she starts hating Minnesota, and then it's just snowball down from there.
Well, I just don't think she actually likes Ethan.
Well,
so
that too,
I think that's one of the reasons. I think she would be a perfect chef kisses fit for LA, and the vapidity and the narcissism and the self-absorption.
Totally.
Not everybody in LA is like that. By the way, I've got friends in LA that are awesome, but a lot of it is superficial. It's about fucking labels. It's about virtue signaling. It's about all of that. And she seems in alignment with that. So I think she would flourish. And of course, the rumor is that she is currently in Los Angeles while Ethan has chosen to remain in Minnesota.
Well, I love to see it.
I do too. I want him to get some experience with other people who aren't so fucking judgmental and isolating to him.
Yes.
It is sad. All right. Now we get to the last segment in this episode where we have Kim and her fake friend, Alicia, who I actually liked. I liked Alicia.
Yes.
Alicia's a former social worker.
Or she is a social worker.
But she also owns a boutique, which is where Kim had her dance studio. So Kim had a dance studio. Was it last season or this season that she got the dance studio?
Last season.
Okay. So she got a dance studio. She had it for about a year, but as Kim says, like, it's hard to start a business when you're going through a divorce.
Okay.
And so she relinquished the dance studio, and Alicia is her tenant with her boutique. And so they sit down, they have some pizza, and this is where Kim is going to tell her fake friend that she found her a man. Girl, I got a man.
Yeah, I've only been divorced for a few months, but I got a man.
She's not divorced.
Yeah, that's what she says to her friend, though.
She uses the word divorced, not
Yes.
separated. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, I've been divorced for about a few months.
You're not.
Yeah, you're
They're
not
still
even
not
legally
divorced. There's
Yeah.
no records of any divorce. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm interrupting. Go on.
No, that's it. Like I've been divorced for a few months, and I've started seeing this guy for the last few weeks, is what she says, which is a total fucking lie.
Lies.
They've been fucking for the last several months. She probably fucked him like right as she told Barry, I want a divorce. That's probably when she said, because she talks to Alicia and she says, I told Barry about this, that I wanted to see other people when I told him we wanted to separate. And I think that's when she started seeing Kim Palmer. But anyway, she tells Alicia, I've started seeing him and I don't know how to broach the subject because I feel like it's getting serious now and I want to tell my children.
Well, Alicia says, did you tell your husband?
Yeah.
And she's like, I did tell him that I am seeing somebody and he didn't say anything. And then she corrects that and says, well, he said he was sad. It made him sad. But he basically didn't express anything, didn't fight for her, didn't seem to care very much.
And she wanted him to. She wanted him to say something. But it's like, you left him, though. What is he supposed to say? I mean, that's my whole thing. It's like, what do you want me to say?
You want me to chase you? You're already gone. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
And even Alicia is like, well, he's probably devastated to learn this. But Kim doesn't fucking care about Barry. She's pretending that she cares about her kids and her kids' reaction to it. And this really bothered me because as she was talking about telling her children, she's like, I'm worried about Lydia because Lydia really doesn't like the divorce because she's got the heart of the father and her heart is the father. She's worried about telling Isaac because, of course, Isaac owns a plane with Ken Palmer. But then she's always inserting the caveat of, but at the same time, in 10 years, my kids are going to have their own lives and their own mates, despite what I think. And so I really feel like it's important that I choose what makes me happy. Like, how am I going to spend the rest of my life? Me.
This shit pissed me off. And when she was talking about Isaac, she wasn't even really concerned about Isaac and how he would feel. She was only worried about telling Isaac because it was important to Ken.
Oh.
That's how she framed it.
That's a good catch.
And then in her talking head, she was like, you know, if Isaac doesn't accept Ken and me dating, well, then we'll just have to have a talk about it because I need to make some important choices for myself. And so it's all about me. And I don't really care about what my kids think because if they don't approve, I'm still going to fuck Ken Palmer. That really bothered me. And the whole idea that you're dating somebody your kids already know bothers me only because that's something that's happened in my personal life with my mother.
Really?
Yes, because when my parents divorced, I was only 13, so I wasn't an adult, and I wish I could have been because I probably would have been able to speak up about it more.
Yeah, and you would have known what was happening too. You probably sensed it though at 13.
Yeah, oh, for sure, at 13. And I knew my parents were going to get divorced. They fought all the time, but literally my dad moves out the weekend of my 13th birthday, and then a week later my mom drops the bomb. Oh, I'm dating someone already. I'm not even kidding. Like, we weren't even moved out. Yeah.
Okay.
A week later, and she's like, and you already know him, but he's really nice. And I'm like, who do we know that you're dating?
Wow.
And then it came out like a couple weeks later that it was a family friend that we have known for over a year and a half that she used to work with. And then he moves in within like 2 months. And it bothered me because my mom didn't really care about how we felt as kids. And as kids, we kind of learned to just accept it right off the bat because we wanted my mom to be happy. But as an adult, I look back on that and I'm like, that was kind of messed up a little bit.
Very much.
Like, we didn't get a chance to really digest that. And my dad, we weren't allowed to tell my dad that she was dating somebody because he would have been upset.
Were they friends?
Yes.
Oh, that was one of your dad's friends. Girl, that is so fucking messy.
I know. Super messy. So watching this whole thing with Kim, it just brings all that back. And I'm just like, Kim, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, you really need to be compassionate to your kids and to your ex-husband because this is still fresh. You're not even fully fucking divorced.
No.
It's not like it's been a year or two since you guys have separated and it's been legalized and everything. It's a few months after you've moved out into the ballet studio that you made him buy.
Right.
And now, conveniently, you're renting it out so you can have some income and you're living in the apartment above it. It's just all so fucking shady and selfish.
It's incredibly selfish. And it begs the question, well, if your children did have a problem with it, if there was like a deep problem they had because it was Ken Palmer or they just weren't ready, would you be willing to put that relationship on pause or walk away from it?
Right.
And I feel like the answer is a resounding no. She's absolutely not going to walk away from it. It's
No.
all about Kim.
Yep. That's so
I've had
fucked
10
up.
children. I should be able to live my life.
Ugh.
She's very selfish.
Super selfish and gross.
And so Alicia's sitting there trying to give her advice on how to tell her kids. And, you know, it's going to be hard with the girls because they're daddy's girls. And Kim doesn't care. She's just going to tell them. And I think we saw a clip in a preview for this season where she's sitting down with Mariah and Lydia, and those girls don't look happy. I'm just wondering if there is anything at all that is going to open their eyes to the nature of their mother. I don't know. We're seeing these pictures. Well, actually, we're not seeing Lydia and Mariah.
That's what I'm saying.
But Micah and Isaac.
But Micah's kind of got a tender heart. We know that. Like, he wants to see the good in his mom. He reconciled with her, like, just last season about some things. So maybe he's just trying to have a good relationship with them despite their toxicity, which I also can understand.
Right.
But with Mariah and Lydia, I'm sure they're going to be mad for a while.
I'm very interested to see that conversation coming up. That was pretty much the entire episode.
Yeah.
Again, pretty boring, but I thought there were some tidbits there.
Some nuggets.
Again, Kim with her machinations, trying to fucking puppet master this whole thing, but being absolutely like she cannot get away with it. Like these people are dumb.
I know.
They don't know how to do this kind of stuff, these mental war games, because they're unintelligent. And then the Christianity stuff with Ethan, I thought was pretty interesting. And also how Olivia is starting to set up her ultimate departure because she wants independence. She wants to go to college. She thinks about it every day. Then she's going to become a bartender. And then she's going to peace out.
Bye.
All right. Then we get to the preview. We see Olivia shadowing somebody to become a bartender.
Cringe.
Here's where she says that she wants her independence. She's not been spending a lot of time with Ethan, interestingly. I thought you guys were alone. It was just you. And it was
so
awesome.
great to be together.
How come you're not spending time together?
Sus.
She also says she's changed a lot and this has caused a divide. We see Micah wondering how the fuck we're going to solve this family problem with Mariah and Ethan. And Mariah's like, I don't know, I want it to be better, but at the same time, my mental health. And then we see Kim sitting down with Isaac and essentially breaking his heart. Good job, Kim.
Good job, Kim.
Great job, Kim. All right. This is a great place for us to stop our coverage of Plathville because we still have 90 Day Fiance. But if you're watching on YouTube, that is going to be a separate video. So make sure to look for that because we're about to go crazy and go in on 90 Day Fiance, The Last Resort. Please don't forget to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe. And until next time, peace out, YouTube.